Hey there, is this the first time that you're seeing me? My name is Melissa McClary Davis, and we're going through my framework on how to do marketing planning. It's really how to do any planning, but marketing planning is my jam. So we are up to now the third R of planning. So just take some notes and get started. Okay, now we're going to get into the work, the nitty gritty work. This is where you would need to make sure that you have a document ready, and you can open up a document and you really want to start to reassess. You're going to reassess what happened. Like I mentioned, you reflected in general. Now you got to look at the numbers. I'm all about the data. So, with you, you need to make sure you have the following information, especially the numbers. You need to have your annual data. So, if you're using Google Analytics or your sales data, you need to look at overall 2021. If you can break it down by month and quarter, have that as well from your sales data. You also need to have just your performance data on any marketing that you have done last year, campaigns that you ran. You should have a performance report on how that campaign went. And then you should also have, information or data on how activity, how many people have gone to your company's website, how many leads that you receive, what is your overall business objectives looking back at your last year's planning document. And you really want to look at that and start answering these questions. First question is, what was your return on investment? When it comes to marketing, it is all about return on investment. Your marketing return on investment. You did some campaigns. Your company did some events. Maybe you sold a particular product. You launched a new product this year. You're really going to need to know what was the return, all the money you put into it, the cost, everything but labor, but for the most part, the marketing cost that you put into it. How much money did you spend on it last year? How much money did you spend on marketing? I always tell people a good rule of thumb when it comes to marketing for corporate, for businesses, it could be upwards of 20% of your revenue should go towards marketing. But honestly, that will change. That changes. It just depends on the type of business that you have in terms of what is the percentage that you should be budgeting towards marketing. The critical thing is that you want to get certain returns. The return is important. And the only way you would know this is if you really track your data. That's why I hammer away on this. Data is important. So, how much did you spend? Did you get the return you wanted on your advertising spend? And that is known as your return on ad spend, or your ROAS. Your ROAS really is a number that you want to get. You want to know for every dollar of marketing dollars that you put in, what was the return? So if you put in $1 for marketing, did you get $2 out? That's a great return. That's 2x. So you have an ROAX of 2x. That's what that means. But when we talk about the dollars you get out, you have to make sure that you're covering off on everything, the costs associated with doing that campaign. So not only is it the marketing dollars spent, but it's the distribution and the fulfillment. So what did you get out of it? How much dollars you get in? What was the sales? That's going to give you a number. But please be aware that number is sales. You got to take out everything underneath that to make sure that you get your true number. But sales is the most important one. So here's some questions that you need to keep handy. Let's go to the next slide. You need to understand, if you had successful campaigns, how do you define success? This past year, 2021, was difficult for a lot of people, difficult for us digital marketers too, because of all the things that have transpired. There is some strategies that worked last year or the year before that are not going to work now, that are going to change. And so you need to be aware of what is defined as success. What are those key success metrics that get you to your goals? Is it the number of leads? Is it the number of people who've come to your web page or your Facebook page, the number of likes you have? Is it your sales? Break it down. There's a path to success. And you need to make sure that you're using these tangible results. What were the top 3 social posts that you had in 2020 and 2021? What were those top 3 ones that you had? Um, and do you know what they are and why? Can you duplicate that in 2022? What did you do that was different? Maybe one of your top posts was video. So Maybe you need to look at adding more video to your social media strategy. What were the open rates averages for your emails? All right, here's some more questions for you. So keep these handy. All right, what were the most successful campaigns that you had? And how do you define success? Is success defined by sales only? Yes, that's part of it, but there's other things that define success too, because some of the strategies that you may have worked in years past are different today. Driving people to your website, getting them into your ecosystem, number of traffic, likes, those are success. So, what were those things that made your campaign successful? And if you didn't have successful campaigns, then let's dive deep into determining what could we do differently. What was your top three social posts that worked for you in 2021 that you can duplicate this year? So you need to know that. You need to be able to work and have a tool that you can look at their top three social posts by engagement, by number of likes, by comments, shares. What were the top three? Do you see any patterns in those top three? Was it around a certain subject? Did it look a certain way? Was it video related? I do know in 2022, the more video you have, the better. That is definitely going to be the approach to really get people to engage and stop and look at your content. What are your open rates for averages for your emails? Are you getting those successful open rates? Do you know the great benchmark? If you're working with folks and they're part of your email list, you need to have decent open rates, 25% or more for sure. And if you weren't getting those, find out why. Was it because of the information that you're sharing, the message, too repetitive, or the people that you're on your list is not your target? You need to look at those. How many did you send? What was your best performing email? And find out why. What was the content in there that performed well? Was it the time of year? Was it the content? Was it what you said? Did you have an offer in it? So you want to take a look at that. And are these some things that you can duplicate in 2022? And can you expand on them? What was that top product or service that you provided? What do people buy from your company? What was the number one service? Make sure that they are, can they rebuy it, or can you expand on that? Can you grow that? And, if you have more than one, what's working better than the other? Are there some assessments where you need to reevaluate whether you need to provide that service or that product? Do you need to move on and freshen up your offers or your lines? So those are some of the things that you want to take a look at. This assessment part is going to take the longest for you to complete, but this is going to give you a lot of great information, and you're going to start to see patterns, especially if you did this in 2021. You'll start to see patterns as to what works well and what doesn't. All right. Make sure you come back for the continuation of this framework. And again, if you need help, you can use the link in the description below or in the comment below and go to thatmarketingplan.com if you need some help and you want to get going and creating your own marketing plan with my help, or go to wisedigitalmarketing.com and hit the contact and book a call, and we can discuss what are the best options for you and your business when it comes to marketing planning. Take care.